an hour conversation to really slow down, remove the distractions, and say, what do you want? And give them a chance to dream a little bit. Once again, thinking from what's possible in the business. They may be the third generation owner of a mechanic shop.
Okay.
And they think they have to put in 65 hours every week, just like their dad did, just like his dad did. And that's not the case. If we can start with, what do you really want? And then I ask them, what's getting in the way from having that right now?
The opinions expressed in the following program are those of the producer and not necessarily those of WKTV Community Media.
Hello, West Michigan. This is Grand Tap Media Business TV. My name is Pamela Keim, your host. The spirit of the show is to introduce West Michigan to all the businesses, nonprofits, individuals that can help us thrive in our lives. Well, today we do have a great guest. It's someone I have known for a while, and he is a business coach. We have had several business coaches, but each one I think brings a different take, value, their experience, what they can do. And this business coach helps small businesses find out what their niche is and also to gain profits, so which is good. So I want to welcome to the show Andrew Lamppa, and he is the founder of Built to Benefit.
Thanks, Pam.
Thank you so much for being on my show today. I just mentioned that we have known each other. We go way back in Toastmasters International. Check it out if you wanted to change your life, right?
Yep.
All right, business coach. You've been a business owner for over 20 years yourself. And so you've seen the good, the bad, the ugly, and because you talk about it at Toastmasters and some of your speeches and whatever. So I want you to share why did you, when you sold your business and started a business coach, why did you decide to do that? And what do you want to help other businesses owners not go through, I guess?
Yeah, great question. Yeah, so I've owned a couple businesses over the last 20 years. A majority of that time I owned a restaurant in West Michigan. And I sold it in 2018. And over those 15 years of ownership, I had a couple coaches that really helped me grow my business. And when I sold it, I knew I wanted to play some role in helping other business owners. And I wasn't sure if it was coaching or something else. So after a year or two after selling it, I realized it really was coaching. Coaching was a good mix of my skill sets, my acumen, and my passions. So early COVID, early 2020, I financially committed to becoming a coach, and yeah, so I've been doing it for almost full-time, for almost part-time for the first year or two, and then full-time for another 2 years. And my real passion is business ownership can be pretty lonely, and I think the stories we can start telling ourselves without a good sounding board, without someone to challenge those stories, is really where a good business coach can play a role in helping them explore what's possible in the business. A lot of business owners, they're so focused on this that they can't see a very expansive view of a situation. So when I meet with my clients, a lot of it is what would need to happen so that this could happen or we could create that. And it's more than just maybe problem solving, it's really thinking expansively on what's possible in their business.
And so your name of your business is Built to Benefit. Where does that come from?
Yeah, so when I owned my restaurant, I really shifted it over the years to being an impactful business that our mission was everyone was welcome. We had gluten-free, vegan, soy-free menu items, and we want to make sure that everyone had a place at the table. And along with that, we helped our employees make sure they were happy to work there and tried to make an impact in the community. So I believe the best small businesses really are built to benefit not only the owners, not only the customers or clients, but the employees and the community or society at large that they reside in.
Well, I would think that people are talking to you because you did own a restaurant, which you know that, like, what is it, 90% restaurants fail or 80%? It's very high. And a lot of people get into it with wanting to succeed. Did you buy a restaurant or did you start from the ground up and this concept came to you and you wanted to own? Because where's that come from? It's not everybody that looks at a restaurant. I mean, I have had people that say they'd like to own a bar because it looks like fun
Yeah.
and whatever, you know. But a restaurant, it looks like there's a lot of moving parts there.
There are a lot of moving parts. So I bought it a couple months after graduating from college.
Okay.
And drove it into the ground for the first couple years, and then dug my way out, and then made some strategic changes that really propelled it to be pretty successful. When I sold it, we had 25 employees, and we were growing at a really, really fast pace. So it was definitely a purchase, and then I grew it from there. But I actually don't really work with restaurant owners. I work with general small business owners. I have some professional services like CPAs and engineers, and then I have some trades like tree service and electrician and garage door company. So I'm not a restaurant specific. I will work with restaurants, but I really am focused on just the small business owner.
Well, I would think that even just knowing that you ran a restaurant where you had to deal with people on a regular basis. I mean, you had your customer, you're right in front of your customer.
Yep.
Right? A lot of people are on the phone and, oh yeah, we'll send a repair guy, you know, you get that. But then you had people coming all different walks of life working for you. You had to hire, and they had to get up and running, and they represent your business as soon as they start, you know, serving a table, right? So I'm sure that there are a lot of business owners that thought that and was like, you know, yeah, that's one of my main problems. That how do you deal with HR problems? I mean, because that's what business is. It's solving a problem for somebody else, but then you're dealing with people that have problems.
Yeah. Well, one of the biggest challenges really is, for many small business owners, leading their people. A lot of business owners are experts in what they do. They went to college, they got their master's, they've been doing it for 20 years, they did it for their parents. They're really good at doing the thing. It's when you have to train, lead, empower others to do the thing under you, for you, that represent you, that's where most small business owners really get stuck. Is no one taught them how to lead people. No one taught them how to manage performance expectations and all the other complicated things that employing other people bring to the table. A lot of business owners sometimes say, I don't want employees because they're not worth the hassle. And I don't think that's a good view. It's a viable option. If you want to stay a one-person shop, that's great. But for others that want to scale a little bit or scale a lot, people really are the linchpin to building the business you desire, and the hurdle to making that happen. I mean, they are the path for almost every business. There's a couple of unicorns where you could be a one-person show and do really well, but for most businesses, being able to train, hire, retain, empower people, that is the number one factor in building the business that can give the owner freedom, allow the owner to work on the business instead of in the business, to really help them create the life that they want.
Oh, so okay, so I call up Andrew, right? What makes you different than other business? You know, there's a lot of business coaches, right? And I would say, what is it? What is your? Is it your restaurant? What is the niche that you feel when you go and help somebody? You can see that value that you've learned going on to somebody else. I'm like, oh God, I wish I would have known this like 5 years. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
So one of it is I coach individuals for a couple of weeks before discussing what it looks like to work together professionally. I think coaching, people don't know what they're buying when they're hiring a coach.
Yeah.
It's, you know, if you hire a CPA, you know you're getting your taxes done. If you hire an engineer, you know you're getting plans or information about how structurally sound a building is. When you're hiring a coach, that's a weird thing to hire or pay for. So I always, with any individual that reaches out, we spend a couple weeks exploring what's going on in their business, coaching them, and then if they find value in the last few weeks, we'll talk about what it looks like to keep going. And a lot of my coaching is, there's sort of business coaching and life coaching. And business coaching, people often think is sort of a knowledge expert or an advisor, or a mentor, someone's really smart and they're gonna tell you what to do. Life coaching, people think, oh, that's just almost a therapy session, or someone's just gonna ask a lot of questions.
Right.
I sort of mix the two because with information's only getting cheaper. With ChatGPT, with obviously the internet, other things, it's really easy to find, how do I do this? You can type it in and it'll spit you out an answer. The thing that's not easy is to figure out what's stopping you from doing that thing.
Is that what you discover when you go in? There's something?
A lot of it is, if someone wants to double their revenue, okay, we can create a plan to double revenue. That's really easy. What's the mental head trash that's going on that's preventing them? Do they have to, are they scared to reach out to more profitable customers?
Right.
Is there, it usually revolves around fear. It revolves around staying in a comfort zone because they've always been there and that's just comfortable. Or are we going to take some risks and think expansively on what's actually possible in business? So a lot of what I do is working with what's going on behind the scenes. What do they think about when they think about this or that? There's definitely some skills and some acumen and some experience I bring from 20 years of business ownership. But where I bring a lot of the value and where I'm different than many is the getting to the heart of what's going on and then trying to unpack that and figure out what's going to cause the shift where the business owner can then take the action they've wanted to take for a long time.
Is it just profits, or are they looking at, look, you come in and they don't have everything completed. Maybe they don't know how they want to run the business. They're too busy running the business, you know what I'm saying, to get the business.
Most of my clients are profitable.
Okay.
Most are also working way too much or more than they want.
And what's too much for you that you see when you go in?
That varies by person. We'll just say they feel it's too much, so I'm good with them saying it's too much.
Okay.
So it's not, some of my clients want more profits, but a lot of them want more freedom. They want either a business that manages itself or people that can manage themselves. That's a lot of the work I do with my clients right now, is creating self-managing employees that can show up and do the work and not have to be micromanaged. A lot of business owners think they have to micromanage to get the stuff done, and that's not the case, but it feels comfortable to do that. So it's not really profits, though profits play a role. I have one client that grew their profits 50% this year because we changed how he was leading his people. And so profits are usually the end goal of a lot of the work we do, but the thing we're working on is getting them more freedom to work on the strategy, on the strategic side of the business. A lot of it could be positioning the business. I have one client that we changed the name of her company to better resonate with her customers.
Okay.
A lot of business are commodities. They're not really different. If you look at this business or that business, they're outside of price, they're almost identical.
Don't you? But do you have to have, when you talk? Let's stop at the positioning.
Yeah.
Right. You hear that a lot today. It's a buzzword. A lot of people don't know how to position. They think it's it's like a mission statement or something like that, right? It's like, but is it? Let me see if I understand it. Is it that, like, let's say you want to open up a coffee shop? There's a lot of coffee shops. What makes your coffee shop different than as opposed to all the other ones that are in a community that are serving coffee? Because sometimes it's really not the coffee. There might be one unique thing. Like, you have the best, like, if you had a restaurant, that's a good example. Grandma's, spaghetti recipe, or what I'm saying. And then it builds from there. I come here. How do you know if when you walk in, what is it?
Yeah.
What is position? How do you do it?
Well, I'll give you two examples. So when I owned my restaurant, we were a very generic diner when I started. When I sold it, we were a very niche restaurant known for allergy-friendly, clean food. But it wasn't all kale smoothies and crunchy food. It was vegan pancakes or gluten-free chicken strips. So we took diner food and made it healthier, made it cleaner, and made it more allergy-friendly.
Okay.
And then what I did is all my marketing surrounded that idea. So I didn't get distracted with any other marketing. I only focused on how we were different, how we were clean, how we were allergy-friendly, and I focused on those two things over and over and over. And over time, Yelp and Google and other searches, we started ranking for, if you went to Yelp and type in gluten-free breakfast, years prior, we wouldn't have been in the top 100. And then at some point, we were in the top 2 because we put all this effort on making sure our customers knew in their minds what we were about.
Okay.
A call I had just before this interview, a potential client, she has a media company. She shoots videos. And she we talked about what differentiates her from her competitors. And we sort of landed on this idea of a lot of companies shoot video, a lot of company manage social medias, very few companies do both and do it well and take the assets of recording videos and put them out to actually grow the business and create an ROI for the company.
So they handled the putting it out
Well,
in the
they do the
public?
both.
They do both?
Yeah, and so
Okay.
I think if she can really dial in the messaging with her customers, then they'll see we're not just getting video that's going to sit on a shelf, we're not managing social media without content, we're combining the two. And if she can properly communicate that to the right people, then the business will grow because that's a very desirable thing. So if you can figure out what your customers want, and if you can communicate we're the best at doing that, that's how you can really position your business. With my restaurant, we knew people were looking for gluten-free food. We knew people were looking for vegan options, and some looked for like soy-free, other dietary restrictions. And so that's what we created. If you know what your customer wants, all you need to do is fill that need and tell them this is what we do, and it can work pretty well.
All right, so let's get back to the CEO or business owner, which
Yep.
is, do they even know, when you walk in, do they know what they want? Besides they don't want to work, but I meant like delegating, because sometimes it's their baby, it's kind of pride, right? You probably see, you got to break through some of that. Do they even, when you walk in, I'm like, okay, so what is your vision of how this is going to operate, what you would like to see? And a lot of them can't clarify it enough. Is that right?
A lot of times it does start with the problems. But my first question will always be, what are you looking to create? Are you looking to create a multi-generational business that you can pass on to your kids? Are you looking to create something on the side that will run by itself in the next couple of years? I had one potential client tell me his dad owned a business when he was 12, and he was looking to just create that same thing now that he's a dad. And that definitely drew some tears for sure, knowing what he wanted to create. So it really, they may not have this grandiose vision or mission statement or purpose, but if we can start at least getting a little idea of what they want. Most business owners don't take many minutes in the day thinking what I want. They're just putting out the next fire over and over and over again.
Yeah, it's all these little fires. Right?
So an hour conversation to really slow down, remove the distractions, and say, what do you want? And give them a chance to dream a little bit. Once again, thinking from what's possible in the business. They may be the third generation owner of a mechanic shop.
Okay.
And they think they have to put in 65 hours every week, just like their dad did, just like his dad did. And that's not the case. If we can start with, what do you really want? And then I ask them, what's getting in the way from having that right now? And then we can start unpacking all the different facets, because they know their business better than I do.
Right.
And me coming in and telling them, here's what you need to do, that's not going to do anything. I need to figure out, it's the thing about a coach on a football team. He's watching the players, he's observing, he's discovering what's going on, and then he can help them make some changes. I can't. I don't know what's going on. I'm not in the business. So the only way I can figure out is by asking questions. Once we do that, we can discover what's going on, and I may be able to help them see things that they can't see on their own, or they're so focused thinking it has to be done this way, when really there's almost nothing that has to be done a certain way.
That is true. And I think that's what I deal with the most. It's like, it doesn't matter how we get here with somebody's idea. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to be my idea. Mm-hmm. And that's what people, if I say you may not want to do it because you want to do it your way, it's not necessarily true. It's like, if you think you can get me here, I will consider it. And if it seems viable that we can get there with that idea, I'm excited about that, because I really just want the results. I don't have to hold on to my pride. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people do say that. All right. So what do you see coming? I mean, I know you're out there, but technology is changing. AI is just fearful. It's taken over the world. I mean, Andrew. I mean, what's your thought on some of this stuff?
Yeah, I do think AI is going to change a lot. I think it's already. I talked to one potential client, and they had 12 employees, and he was able to go down to 4 employees. And so he fired 8 employees because AI could do a lot of the work that they're doing. And I think with all technological changes, it brings efficiencies. It usually brings more profits, and it changes the business landscape. So I don't know if I'm bearish or bullish on AI. I think it's too. I use it on occasion. I know a lot of people are saying it's doom and gloom. A lot of people say this is will save humanity. I'm not sure if it's either. But
destroy.
Or destroy.
It's the other. I watch a lot of business channels, and I listening to their point of view. Yeah, it said it's gonna be coming quicker than you think, and which is quite scary of all the people that are in college right now, going for certain jobs. He said they won't even be here in 10 years.
Yeah.
And what do you do?
And I don't doubt that. I think there's a lot of, especially in the professional services, that if you simply do a task that AI can do, they're probably going to be able. It's probably going to be able to do it better. If you can feed AI 1 billion documents that you used to do,
right,
it's going to spit out something pretty amazing. If we're only at the day 1 of AI, or the first 5% of its capacity, if ChatGPT becomes 20 times more capable, I don't know. I don't know what the future holds. I'm not worried about it, but I think
there's nothing you can do about it. But you can
I think there's planning. You can plan, and you can run scenarios, and you can start thinking, this is coming. Let's not stick our head in the sand.
Right.
We have to at least be aware of its capabilities. That's why I play with it a lot, to see how capable it is. But yeah, I think we're not sure where it's all going to land.
We don't know. We don't know the future. It is going to. It's kind of like at the turn of the century. It's going to go, right? It's coming. You got to position yourself. I don't know. I hear a lot of negative, but then I did see. I interviewed a gentleman that that does for the social media and whatever, and he's just like, he just was showing me how the AI was working, and he goes, well, give me a problem, Pamela, and I'm sitting there just like, really? Give me gave him a problem, and something and popped it right in there. And he goes, what'd you give? Like, now that I'm the VP of Public Relations for Toastmasters, and he gave a kind of a question to it. Popped up how I can, do certain, and I'm like, wow, I would be sitting there brainstorming in meetings. Okay, so what should we work on? Do you understand what I'm saying? I was pretty impressed. I went, wow, that's really cool, because I never used it before. I see it on my, it's available, but I just worry about, I don't know anything about it.
One thing I used it for a few months ago is I go on a date with my kids every Friday. One kid on one Friday, and then vice versa. And I want to do a scavenger hunt with my daughter. So I typed into chat, do a scavenger hunt for a 5-year-old at Meijer, which is a local grocery store, and give me the item and a description that would resonate with her without giving it away. And 2 seconds later, it spit out 20 items, and I took the list. We went to Meijer, and I said, okay, what's yellow and shaped like a moon and a fruit or something? I don't remember what it was. And she went to banana, and then we went here, and we went all over the store for about an hour. So would I have taken the time to come up with a scavenger hunt of 20 items and their descriptions? Probably not, but it was fun to do it. It took less than 2 minutes, and she had a great time. So there are so many novel things you can do with it, but you can type in some pretty elaborate prompts and get some pretty impressive answers. And I think that's where, if coaching is simply providing knowledge, it's not going to be around very long. And that's why my coaching is not, here's the information, do it. It has to go deeper than that, because information is really dirt cheap these days.
It is dirt cheap. You can get it instantly.
Yep.
It does it, but it's not going to it's not going to walk alongside you for you and kind of give you permission. Why are you afraid? That's what's usually what's stopping 99% of the people.
Yep.
They'll tell you, even if you, I know it's me. They're failures in life. I just was afraid. I didn't take this opportunity. I didn't see it. I saw it as I didn't know enough. Do you know what I mean? You got that. Okay. Is there anything that we've gone over that you'd like to, might want to share something else that I didn't bring up that would be very helpful to audience, small businesses that, that might be looking on and going, you know what, I need a business coach. Yeah. I need to get myself, as we all say, get myself together so I feel kind of at peace. that I feel like I'm happy to go to work instead of worrying about putting out fires constantly. You're going to put them out, but maybe you have more different strategy to put those fires out.
I think a couple things would be, first, there's never a bad time to at least have a conversation. Business owners think, I'll wait until profits are high or this has happened or this. And really, there's a lot of value a good business coach can offer at any stage of the business, whether it's a startup or a seasoned business that's ready to scale. So I would first suggest find someone. You do not have to do, you don't have to be on an island. You do not have to walk this journey alone. There are free resources out there. There are paid resources out there, but don't try to do it alone. This isn't the Wild West. It's unnecessary. Swallow your pride. If it's a pride thing, swallow your pride. Everyone needs help. Those that ask for help, I just talked to an individual a couple days ago. He's like, man, every time I ask for help, things just happen.
Yes.
When I don't ask for help, they stagnate, and they don't go anywhere. So I would say that. I would say every business owner and every business is probably has a lot more potential than they're currently experiencing. We tell our stories. We have these stories that we tell about ourselves and our business, and they can be quite limiting. I have a mentor that says, what does he say? Limitations are created, but possibility always exists, but limitations are created.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people just assume, well, I could never do that, or it could never be this, or I could never take a 2-week vacation. And that's just a story that we've told ourselves so often that
I always have
becomes
to hustle.
a belief.
Right?
Yep.
I have to hustle, or I'm never going to, be a millionaire at a certain, and it's not true. Even though it does take hard work. I'm not saying it doesn't. But I find myself, too, whenever I'm stuck, I just start reaching out.
Yep.
And connecting to people that are a little further down the road than I am. And it can get me through a difficult situation. I don't want anybody I have to take with me, which is never good.
Yeah.
But I will reach out and I will, ask them, like, what's your thoughts, And it always gets me through. They come up with an idea, a way out that I never thought of. Because you can get narrowed when you've got so many,
I think, I don't know if it's Henry, I think it's Henry Ford that said, whether you believe you can or you can't, you're right. And I think that's what a lot of coaching is, helping our clients work on the beliefs of what's possible, and then saying what needs to happen to create that possibility in your life, in your business, in your marriage, in any aspect of who you're being.
Well, they say, and that is so true, and I've experienced it myself. You are who the 5 people you hang around with. And you always want to hang out with people. It's hard sometimes because they are further down the road, such as yourself, further down the road that have been more successful, maybe, taking on 2 businesses and are successful. But once you get down the one, I know people that say, well, I already got those principles down and I'm going for the next, it becomes more easy. And because I can't explain it, but
Yeah.
I'm not as afraid as I was the first time to profit my business. Now that I have another one, I'm like, we got to figure. And I think you guys too, people such as yourself, when you make mistakes, you share it. I'm always like, I'm glad they're sharing that, because we all think that nobody that's doing very well is making mistakes, right?
Vulnerability is critical for growth, and if you aren't willing to be vulnerable, then you're not going to move very fast. But if you can open up, be honest, share what's going on, connect with people, you're much more likely to get further in life.
That's further down the road.
Yeah.
I will tell people. I always say make sure they're further down because they've been there. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
All right. So how can they reach you, Andrew, and build to benefit? And maybe you want to have a consultation. Maybe you want to learn more about, if this is good for them. They need to look into maybe having somebody come and have a conversation with them.
Yeah. The easiest thing to do is just go to huddlewithandrew.com, and you can get on my calendar, and there's no cost, and we'll just explore what's possible with your business. You can also find me on LinkedIn. Just search for Andrew Lamppa.
That's right. Okay, or you can just reach out to me and I'll be happy to give you his contact information. All right, we want to thank Andrew Lamppa for being here today. So if you know anybody that that you think would be a great guest in the future, in the fall, just reach out to me. I'm always looking for a business, a nonprofit, or an individual that's doing an event, because I love to share that in West Michigan. So I want to once again thank Andrew again. So this is Pamela Kine from GRTV Media. We will catch you next time. Take care, everyone.